Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 7 and we will present a topic on the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear energy. But first, I will introduce the members of our group. The first is me as the moderator. The second is Hanum Maulani as the first speaker. The third is Fadila Mardatila as the second speaker. And the last is Diva Kartika as the third speaker. Maybe we haven't heard the term SPP, steam power plant, or HPP, hydroelectric power plant. But have you ever heard the term NPP? NPP itself stands for Nuclear Power Plant. On June 27, 1954, the world's first nuclear power plant successfully generated electricity for the electricity grid in opening Soviet Union. So, what actually is a nuclear power plant? Find out more in this video about nuclear power plants, how they work, and their advantages and disadvantages. So, the first thing is, what is a nuclear power plant?
Nuclear energy is created when uranium atoms are split in the process, nuclear fission. In this process, there is a division of the atomic nucleus into smaller parts, which then releases a large amount of energy in the form of heat. Then, control rods can be inserted into the reactor core to suppress the reactor rate, and the heat generated by fission turns water into steam, which turns turbines to generate carbon-free electricity.
Next, how does a nuclear power plant work?
How it works? Reactors that function as nuclear fission controllers use uranium as nuclear fuel. Uranium, which has gone through a refining process, is then made into small ceramic pellets and stacked in sealed metal tubes called fuel rods. Typically, more than 200 of these rods are combined together to form a fuel assembly, and the power level determines the number of assemblies present in the reactor core. The fuel rods in the reactor vessel contain water as a medium and coolant. This medium helps slow down the neutrons produced by fission to keep the chain reaction going. Then the control rods can be inserted into the reactor core to suppress the reaction rate, and the heat generated by fission turns the water into steam, which spins a turbine to generate carbon-free electricity.
Next, the advantages of nuclear power plants.
Advantages of nuclear power plants. 1 is carbon free. Power plants such as air and steam are powered by fossil fuels which release carbon dioxide and are one of the factors causing global warming. In contrast to nuclear power plants which do not produce carbon dioxide. 2 is produces high power. Nuclear power plants produce high levels of energy compared to most power sources, especially renewables, which makes them providers of a large base load of electricity. 3 is updatable. The constant level of production and accessibility of nuclear power plants. 3 is updatable. The constant level of production and accessibility of nuclear energy makes this renewable energy reliable. 4 is operational cost tend to be low. Nuclear power is one of the relatively most cost-effective and reliable energies compared to other sources. Aside from the initial construction costs, electricity generation costs are cheaper and more sustainable than other forms of energy.
And the last, what are the disadvantages of nuclear power plants?
Advantages of nuclear energy. First, high capital. The reactor requires a high level of security. First capital. The reactor requires a high level of security, considering that this device is a complex device that requires high costs. Secondly, nuclear waste. Nuclear waste is a dangerous byproduct of nuclear power plants. Nuclear waste itself is radioactive, making it a threat to the environment and health. Third, uranium is non-renewable. Although nuclear energy is a clean source of power, it is technically non-renewable. Current nuclear technology relies on uranium or aspule, which is in the source supply in the Earth's crust. And finally, malfunction can cause huge losses. A nuclear explosion occurs when a nuclear reactor generates heat in excess of the amount of heat transferred by the cooling system, where this causes the system to exceed its melting point. If this happens, hot radioactive vapor can escape, which can cause the nuclear reactor to completely melt down and catch fire, while releasing dangerous radioactive material into the environment.
So the conclusion of our presentation is the working principle of nuclear power plants is based on the heat source generated by the heat supply from nuclear reactions. The utilization of heat energy cannot be produced if there is a lack of fuel. The types of nuclear power plants that exist on Earth are the development of existing technological advances. Therefore, there are many new developments in electrical energy generation. So that's all for our presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.